Nutrition. You are layers of the food you eat. What you eat is very important. You see, if you have a poor diet, see what happens. You have a poor general health. If you have mental stress because increase in free radicals in your diet, you could have a sedentary lifestyle. Coupled with poor diet, it is reduced basic metabolic rate and weak immune system. So there are so many things which can go wrong with poor diet. It is the cornerstone of where it is. Now if you think eating a nice heavy-duty plant, animal-based diet is good, because it is considered a poor diet. Because you got too much nutrition in there, which more than what your body requires, and of course half of it is, 30% is wasted. So you're wasting the resource of the earth anyway. And you get more toxins out of it, but more on that later. But here you understand the diet is very important of how it affects the entire other aspects of life. Adequate nutrition for a healthy lifespan. We want to analyze how we human beings, normally a healthy human being, eats about 2 to 3 times more than we require for optimum health. We got used to it. The body has got used to it. And what happens there? We have a system which is based on twice amount of food which you require, most of it being wasted. Now I want to stress on this when I say this is my personal experience. I joined a training ship, and there we were given food. I was 16 years old then. We used to get food on a plate, exactly measured amount, this much meat, this much vegetables, this much, 1-2 slices of bread. It was measured basically. And it was supposed to be for a growing 16-year-old, 17-year-old. But we were always starving because we were used to eating food at home when we could eat no more, and then it was, thank you mom, that's it. Here we were starving all the time. But would you believe, by the end of the second term, when we became seniors, we couldn't even finish that because our stomach had shrunk, and we were doing a lot of physical activities, from playing games to cleaning ship to studying and all those, and with that food, not an ounce of fat. It has a 6-pack showing then. And then I went, when our training finished, went to a seagoing ship, and there was no such restriction at all. So you had breakfast, lunch, dinner, and with whatever, like ham, bacon and fries together. And you won't believe it, in 2-3 months I had exploded where none of my clothes fit me. So when I say that, if I had continued with the old diet, I would have been fine. I would have been okay right through life. But I started eating more. And in the end I exploded, and it took me 20, maybe 25 years to bring it back to normal again. And now of course I am normal, and I've decided just to put something in my mouth which has a meaning. It has to do something to my body, not my taste. But more on that later. I would say all meats, animal fats, cheeses, and even wheat for that matter, to a certain extent, are acidic, causing foods which take longer to digest and excrete. When I say that, have you ever measured in a chemistry in a chemistry lab, you put acid in acid, there's hardly any reaction. Try putting an alkali in an acid, you have a great reaction. Now, we have a lot of hydrochloric acid in your stomach, a human being, and that is what pre-digests the food, breaks down the food before it goes to the intestines. So, it takes longer to digest meats, animal fats and acidic food because of the pH level of what food it is. And And animal-based acidic diets, you absorb more nutrients. You absorb more nutrients, yes, there are no two ways about it, than the body requires. We also absorb more toxins. So if you want rapid growth, you want good strength, yes, eat animal-based product. Short time, it is very good. But we also take in a lot of toxins and free radicals. Now, that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So, to give an idea of the eating process, this is what we're used to. You look at it, you think about it for a start. You look at it, you smell it, you taste it, and you chew it. That's all the tangible sense when you're eating. You enjoy that moment. But once you swallow it, you have no control. It is out of your control. It is silently, the process is taking place. And that process is the digestive process, which is silent. And you only know if it is not silent if you get acid reflux or you have some other digestive issue. But most of the time it's silent. And of course, the last process, not the least, most important, is once the food passes through the small and large intestine, then the colon, and it should excrete out in a suitable time. So depending on the type of food you eat, it will take longer or shorter to eliminate it. And you want to eliminate it as soon as possible. The longer it stays in you, the more toxins you take out from there. And you don't want that. That's basically what you're talking about is free radicals. So, once again, once you chew it out and break down the food, you swallow it, it reaches the stomach, which is hydrochloric acid, to help break down the food. The contents of the stomach will be released into the intestines. After 4.5 hours, if it is pork, 4.5 hours, and 20 minutes if it's fruits and vegetables. So, chicken takes maybe 1.5 hours, fish takes 1 hour, and then you carry on, beef takes about 3 hours. Now, these are things to go from the stomach to the intestines. So, the eating process is simple, but the 3-part eating process, we only are tangible about the first part. This number 2 and number 3 is silent. I have come to the conclusion that I will like to eat only stuff which is good for me, and it easily eliminates. And the last part is I want to make it taste better. So that's a little challenge, but if you have that cycle, you're not eating because you're used to the taste. But it happens that this is not good for you. So we'll come to that later. Now let's go forward. Now I want you to think about the intestine's digestive process. Now your digestive process, your stomach, the entire thing is actually shaped like a brain. And they say this is about like a brain of a 7-year-old. So you actually have 2 brains. When you eat food, what to do, what nutrients to take, the brain doesn't send the signal, the stomach knows. It starts doing that work. So a lot of blood goes into the intestines. When the nutrients are changing, the blood is the one which is going there. You have increased blood flow now when you have an intense digestive process. When you eat, you have to eat. It will be some use of the blood. But when you overeat, when you have excess food, when you have more nutrients than what you require, why are you sending blood to digest and take nutrients out? Because that is an integral part of digestion, is when the blood flows into the intestines. There are a lot of blood vessels in the intestines, which is going round and round, and it's 23 feet of the intestine, so you have a lot of blood vessels there. See, it takes about 72 hours to be expelled if it is meats and vegetables, and fruits are expelled in 24 hours or less. So that's why it's important to eat something which doesn't stay long. Longer the contents in the system, more toxins are absorbed. These free radicals are the cause of various afflictions. See, these toxins cause decay of the cell, which is causing, which is part of the organ, or it causes blockages somewhere, it causes calcification somewhere. There's so many things which can happen because you have free radicals, because they react with something there and make something, and it stays there. So don't let this to go. And moreover, the 50 trillion germs we talked about, most of the germs live in that area, in that colon and in the intestines. So the gut flora is very important. Your good bacteria looks after your digestion. You eat antibiotic, all your good flora is gone. You have to start all over again. So having probiotic drinks like kefir and like having cabbage, pickled cabbage, kimchi, all these are things which help you with the probiotics and the good bacteria to increase in number from the 50 trillion, maybe 30 trillion are the good bacteria. You maybe make it 40 trillion by having probiotics. So blood flora is very important, and of course, there's one other thing which is very important is also the blood sugar level. We have not taken that into consideration. When you eat something, every time there's a blood sugar spike. And nowadays they say, depending on what you eat, if the spike is too much, maybe it's not good for you. So you have to be careful of the foods you eat, where you don't have a big spike. And glucose levels, how your insulin is, how tolerant it is to the sugar in the blood, the insulin sensitivity, that also has to change. But that is for a person who has a problem. We're talking about normally in the intestines, all these processes are happening concurrently. So to understand, this is a silent process. You don't even know what's happening. Your brain down below is doing the job. Now, what is the best diet for good health and longevity? I mean, if I'm asked, we are saying don't eat this, don't eat that. What is the best diet? Well, there are many recipes and many ways of saying it. Let's say, I would say to be on a plant-based diet. That's what I am on. Plant-based diet, whole foods only, no processed. If you want to process it yourself. No cookies from outside. Make it yourself. And if you don't have to eat cookies. You just make your food so that number 2, which your nutrients are good and they like the stomach likes it and it can be expelled very easily. Number 1 and 2 and 3 is very important, and number 1 is the taste later on. That may or may not be good, but that's important. But if you're hungry and you eat boiled vegetables, this tastes so nice. Would you believe me? Make it that way. Your stomach is not a car which can take diesel fuel and gasoline both. Right? You only can take one type of fuel. So just make it that way. When you have excessive nutrients from animal-based diet, it is good for rapid cell growth. You can see you have the proteins, you have all the cells grow faster and better, but has excessive toxins also and free radicals, which we are trying to fight. Because in the long run, it is the free radical which reduces your digestive health by taking more and more gastric juices to digest it, and you wasted resources there. So there is some sort of a wastage of the digestive process. You want to make your digestive process as long as possible. Give it an easy job. You don't have to strain your system. Okay, what are you going to eat then? Does your stomach like it? Like when you have it for its nutrition? Does it have enough nutrition? You have a lot of proteins in nuts, you have a lot of proteins in avocado, nutritional yeast. There are so many protein-based, chia seeds is one of them, superfood. All these are superfoods which have proteins. So don't miss your proteins. But it's good for you, so have it. And of course, they don't have free radicals. Good. It has got antioxidants. So take it. This is what you are supposed to put in your stomach. It has to only be allowed to go in if it follows this nutrition. If this follows these two things, it's nutritive and it is lack of free radicals, then only you swallow it. Otherwise, go to the dustbin and throw it. Don't swallow it. Enjoy the taste. And does your excretion system like it? Yeah, that's important. You eat something and in the morning you wake up, everything is cleared nicely, you feel better, all your waste is gone and your stomach is totally empty and your system is reset. That's very important because most of the problems, future problems to come from constipation. If you're eating the wrong kind of food, you're going to have constipation. That's one of the byproducts of eating the wrong kind of food. And when you have constipation, you have so much time for your nutrients and toxins to be absorbed that it's got a cascading effect. So, make sure you have easy eliminations, no constipation, and then maybe the last, make it taste good. So, if you're eating hungry, of course, as I said, it tastes better anyway, but you can try to make it tasty by putting certain fresh herbs and all that. And the best thing is to eat naturally if you can. So, without saying too much, I'm just giving you an idea of why you should be on a best diet, which is for longevity, the plant-based diet. Why not the other one? This is your big why. If you're interested in living a long life and because of your digestive system has to be extended to when you're older, when you have, it's less efficient and you can process the food and you're not going to waste nutrients by eating them unnecessarily. So now, stomach, from there it goes to the intestine, it goes nice passage, it goes to the big colon and the large intestines and it comes out. This whole process, it takes 24 hours if it's vegetables. And just imagine, if you had meats and all that, you'll have first day's meat lying there, second day's meat lying there, and third day's meat lying there. So you have 3 days worth of, well, what do you say? Feces lying inside, which is we're taking toxins off from. So keep your stomach happy. It has a brain of its own. Keep the flora there happy on your side, all the germs, all the good germs. Now, here I want to tell you the story which inspired me to say that we eat too much. You see, I am with Swami Yogananda. I had gone to Rishikesh and he was taking a yoga class. It was highlighted as a 106-year-old yoga teacher who was taking the class. It was a novel idea, so I traveled to be in his class. And there were 30 people already there and he was taking that class. And after about 40 minutes, I was tired. This Swami was doing 4 such classes every day. Suddenly I realized I must eat what this guy is eating. So I went, Mr. Swamiji, please tell me what you eat for food, what is your diet? He says, no, simple vegetarian food. I said, no, to be a little more specific, can you tell me what you had for breakfast yesterday? Well, he says, I had 1.5 kilos of oranges. Oh. And I had a handful of almonds, a handful of pistas, a handful of cashew nuts, and a handful of raisins. Uncooked in the raw form. And I have it with water. I said, good. I don't have tea or coffee. And that's all I eat. I don't have lunch. Dinner? No, I don't have dinner. He doesn't have lunch, dinner, only one meal a day. And on the 7th day, he fasts. He doesn't even eat that. So, I was surprised. He takes my finger and puts it in his mouth. He says, look, own teeth. My vision is normal. Hearing is normal. Not on any medication at all. and he was 106 years old then. So I was inspired by this. I said, if he can be in good health, he's not on any medication, with only one meal a day, why am I having 2 or 3? I'm not saying you follow this, but you should realize the potential of the human to sustain itself and to go forward in a healthy manner if it eats less rather than if they eat more. And especially if you had plant-based as opposed to meats. So with this, we have a detailed course coming up where we discuss recipes and how to prevent various types of diseases like your blood sugar, your weight gain you can reduce by doing this method, and healthy weight loss which stays on, and then you have your all your flora, your gut flora is absolutely in the best of nick, and you live longer, you have less blood wasted there in digestion. So that is the main reason you have to eat easy food to digest. You don't want to send too much blood. You're sending your army there for nothing. Okay, we have webinars every week. So, and there we discuss plant-based diets and how you can make it part of your lifestyle and get healthier, healthy weight loss, control your blood sugar, blood pressure, longevity. You can register yourself at longevityunleashed.info, and when we have a webinar, you're definitely welcome to join us. And in any case, this is a part of the series leading to the main course, which will be a detailed method of this. And remember, when we go to the main course, you have lifetime access to me as an accountable coach, and I will help you to find the best process of eating where you don't feel that you're left out. You will feel satiated, and plus you will have the best of your health. So with that, the next video will be about deliberate breathing. So with that, thank you very much.